Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey, chapter 341. It is the second day of the week, aka the special beam cannon workout. I am feeling very good, very excited for this workout. But anyways, to the main subject matter for today, being one-shotted. So, in this context, what am I talking about? This is a popular term on Twitter, particularly based on certain things that you see. So for example, if I have it in the thumbnail, I'm pretty sure I'm going to at least have one, but in the thumbnail we have a popular picture. I'll even put it right here if it's not, of an Asian girl that all of a sudden got hugely popular all of a sudden overnight on X, and it quote unquote one-shotted a bunch of people, aka basically aimed the rifle of, I guess, not even just like lust, but more so like a crush-like thing, aimed it right at their head and pulled the trigger right there, and all of a sudden life changed for certain people like that. Now, is this a little bit hyperbolic? Of course, but that's the entire point of something like this. Why would I say one-shotted if it isn't that crazy? But it is crazy because certain things like this happen, and we'll get into other examples after this. But it is an interesting idea because there are people who get one-shotted by multiple things, but also when it comes to relationships and or crushes or things like that, people end up getting boomed right in the head by one thing or one person or one style of person or something completely different that makes them just fundamentally shift their entire viewpoint on whatever it is. So, for example, with the woman that I was describing earlier, a lot of guys all of a sudden were like, oh shit, I need to move to Japan. Like, it just hit them all of a sudden. Maybe it was a thought beforehand, maybe it was just a sprinkling, but that idea just shot from the back of the head to the front of the head, and all of a sudden it is their world now. Now, of course, this is obviously social media, so things have been exaggerated to say the least, but at the same time, of course, this doesn't necessarily mean that the thing behind it isn't necessarily true, because it is true, and you can see this with a lot of different examples. So when we get downstairs, we will discuss more examples, and one other way that people have been getting one-shotted recently, which is quite astonishing. But with that being said, I will see you at Mother Base.
All right, so start this day off with squats, which were pretty good. But anyways, back to the main subject matter at hand here. Being one-shotted. So this is a very particular thing, being one-shotted. It is something where you are basically changed from a fundamental perspective viewpoint of something of the world, and your fundamental worldview has shifted because of this one thing. This happens a lot to people, mostly when it comes to love or hatred of something or fear of something. We will get back to fear later. But in this case, it is an infatuation with someone that people saw that just out of nowhere hit a core nerve with certain people to the point where they were like, yes, this is exactly what I need in my life, which is insane in a certain sense because this happens to everybody in a certain sense, but it's also very interesting that a picture of an Asian woman on the internet can do that, as she is being a cutesy girl in a business attire. But that's beside the point. The point is that this infatuation happens all the time with a lot of people, with a lot of different things. Particularly when I think of being one-shotted, I think a lot of the time men will end up getting it a lot for women who will see this person, and then all of a sudden their world revolves around this one person, whether it be they change their personality, their looks, what they're going to do in their life, their worldview, whatever it is. This person can completely change the person's outlook for the better or for the worse, because some people will go down the rabbit hole of doing anything to get the person that they are trying to get to as possible, and that can lead to a lot of disasters beyond approach of this one video. Being one-shotted isn't just a love type of thing. It is also a hatred type of thing. You can see the hatred part in the people who have Trump derangement syndrome, where they are obsessed with hating Trump, which, I mean, I get it, but I also understand that the same bullshit. It doesn't matter who it is. You're being extra deranged because you're being riled up by other people, basically. And there are certain people that get into a hatred of certain things because of other people getting hated on it or hating something, that they get laser focused on it, especially nowadays in the attention economy, where you get better views for hating something, so you'll get more people to join along with it. You will see this a lot in a different subject matter, which I will get to in another day, but the lol cow arena, basically, where people are literally just one-shotted with pure hatred for certain people on the internet. Understandably so for certain people, but it is a one-shot where even if the person says something that technically is true, they will just deny them any type of good grace, because their hatred for them has just poisoned the well for anything good possible to happen. Then there is the other type of one shot, which is the fear one shot. And we saw this in full effect back in 2020. I cannot say I wasn't a part of it, because I was one-shotted for a while there. Basically, I remember in December through February, I was freaking the fuck out because of this thing. Well, you already know, I'm not going to say the name of it, but you know what I'm talking about back in 2020. But this thing paralyzed people. But the thing is, certain people have been one-shotted so badly that it is still affecting them to this day. It's been 5 years since the peak of it happening, but yet people are still freaking out from it. They have been in fear one-shotted by this disease, basically, and has been ever since changed a viewpoint in their world. And I think that's the main thing about it, is that a lot of it is just a worldview change immediately. That one thing just takes a bullet and just strikes the head with it. And some people recover from it. Some people are able to, let's say, get away from the crush, get away from the woman that they're into or the person they're infatuated with, or they stop watching the person that they hate or whatever that is, or maybe they don't fear the thing that they once feared anymore, whatever that is. But certain people get stuck in whatever one-shots them, that they forever are stuck on this thing or person or feeling that they can never get out of. And those are the people that you really feel bad for, because they're just done. They're basically walking zombies at that point, where they don't do anything else, but their entire worldview is based on it. It's kind of like knowing the guy that has a thing for Asians, and you're like, all right, brother, have respect for something else. At least let's talk about something else, or something along those lines. Maybe even drugs too, or any of the four horsemen. They can easily one-shot someone the moment that they get them. But that's a little different. This is more of a strong feeling that a thing gives a person, really.
Also, to add, it doesn't necessarily only have to be a person, but it can also be a feeling or a style of feeling that this person makes them feel, or a thing makes them feel, that they want to repeat over and over and over again to try to find that same feeling. It's a very interesting thing. It's almost like a crush, but the crush is a little different. We'll talk about that on a different day.
And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed, none. Exercises skipped, also none. Got everything in, thankfully. But anyways, back to the main subject matter at hand here. Getting one shot. So the main reason why I wanted to talk about this is because this is a phenomena that happens continuously. This isn't even just something along the lines of like a crush or something like that. Something that one-shotted a lot of people was a big event that happened in 2020. And some people are still one-shotted from that, aka they believe their entire life is being destroyed because of this one thing that still exists in the air. And you can see this all around. Some things like that control people to the point where they basically lose themselves to that thing. And that is what it means to be one-shotted, really. And it's a very interesting phenomena, because you can see it more and more and more with social media allowing the inner lives of people to be exposed to the world, and then you see what people are willing to do, what they're willing to give up, what are they willing to sacrifice, and also what are they willing to, the lengths they are willing to go to in order to keep whatever is that one thing that shot them through the head in balance, to make sure that it stays where it is, if that makes any sense. It's very interesting to see that, especially because you can see this anywhere in any time at any point in your life. And hell, there might have been something that one-shotted you as well, and you don't even realize it, or maybe you recovered from it. Maybe there happened, and thankfully you did. Maybe there was that one girl you had a crush on that was the fucking worst crush in your world, or maybe it was some type of news article that just drove you into a spiral of, oh shit, the world is gonna end. But this thing happens all the time. But some people recover from it. Some people make it their entire lives. Try not to make it your entire life. There are people out there that still hang on and cling on to certain things that have just completely passed away at this point. You know, they're just completely past it, but they are stuck there, and then they basically die there, metaphorically. And that's it. They become a husk of themselves because they have decided that this was the one shot that ended up killing them. So it sucks when that happens, but it does happen. And you can see this a lot too, when people just kind of get stuck there on one thing and then they get obsessed with it, whatever it is. And it all just depends, really. Really depends on what it might be. And some people never move on. It's very, very, very strange, and very particular to the person, and probably some like things in the past, their past, and plus a few other elements that go along with it. It's always interesting to see it come to fruition. But with that being said, tell me what you think in the comment section down below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this one. This was a look out into the world that's happening now with a bunch of stuff like that, because there are many things out there that are designed to one-shot you and make sure that you stick around no matter what. A bunch of them, probably hell, all four of the four horsemen I have talked about in the previous series will probably apply to this as well. So it all just depends. But with that being said, tell me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions. And if you have a story about somebody that you know or someone that you've heard of that got one shot by something that all of a sudden just, that's it, that's their lives now, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to know that. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy. Stay safe out there. Stay cool out there. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.